Namaskar. Welcome to this session. So we were considering the Tanmatra and the Avishesha Parva. Now we'll come to Linga Matram. And we had commenced about the definition of Linga Matra that appears in Matar Vritti of Sankhya. Now we will take few more descriptions about the Mahat Tattvam or Linga Matram. As I said, Mahat Tattvam, Buddhi Tattvam, Mahat Brahma, Linga Matram, these are the connotations for same entity. And Patanjali, as a philosopher and being a philosophical system of his, he opts for the term Linga Matram. So point is, it is Mahat Shabdavachya. For our understanding, it is Mahat Shabdavachya or Buddhi Tattva Vachya. It is denoting Buddhi Tattvam of Sankhya or Mahat Tattvam or Sankhya or Mahat Brahma of Bhagwad Gita. And the karya of Mahat Tattvam is Ahankara. And we considered the three kinds of Ahankara: Vaikarika, Tejasa and Bhutadi, which are respectively Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic, major Ahankara Tattva. Now, Linga Matram or this Mahat Tattvam is the cause of all entire unfoldment principle wise in Sankhya. So it is Bijam, it is seed of entire manifestation, gross or subtle, metaphysical or physical or elemental or quintiplicated matter. The matter that is of the subjects of physics. So physics deals with the manifest matter, which we are aware of: liquid matter, solid matter, gaseous matter. So this Mahat Tattvam is the Bijam, is the seed of entire manifestation from metaphysical to physical to gross physical to quintiplicated physical. Therefore, it is worth taking note of Vyasa's statement here in Yoga Bhashya. He says, Tasmin te Satta Matre Mahati Atmani Avasthaya Vivruddhi Kashtham Anubhavanti. So, it is the Mahat Tattva that is referred to here, and that's why he says Tasmin te Satta Matre. It has only existence, not a manifestation. Satta Matra means just having existence, but not a manifestation. And it is also referred to as Mahan Atma, Mahati Atma. Not to mistake it, it is not a metaphysical principle of Atma, but Mahat Tattva has been also referred to as Mahan Atma or Mahat Brahma, and from there the entire complete manifestation unfoldment commences. It reaches the what is called as Kashta Prapti. So it reaches the ultimate stage of all manifestations. So he has used the predicate Satta Ma. As I said, Satta Matra because it is Linga Matram. It is so metaphysical and subtle metaphysical, perhaps the subtlest plane of metaphysical matter, and therefore it is said to be reaching the Kashta Prapti. Nothing of the Prakrti is subtler than Mahat Tattva. This is the subtlest, reaches the paramount level of subtlety, Paramasuks in Prakrti. So that's why he has used the expression Kashta Prapti. Then it gives rise to 6 avisheshas, and then of course Vishesha, and then of course quintiplicated matter and phenomenal matter. So why Mahan Atma comes in the description of it? It is because anything that is Atma figuratively is said to be quintessential, most important. Atma doesn't mean only Atma. Atma also means the most important, and therefore the Tuchchatvam is set aside. Tuchchatvam means paltriness. The paltriness is set aside. And that is why the word or predication Mahan Atma comes in Vyasa's comment. So this is just to set aside Tuchchatvam. And Atma also means not only Atma, but something which is of core importance, core vitality, absolute importance, maximum importance, and complete importance. Like otherwise in English we have the word called soul. So when you say something is my soul, or or something is soul to me, it means it becomes very, very, very important to you. So in English we have got this expression of soul. The soul doesn't every time doesn't come to mention something, the soul itself as an entity, but it also comes to describe the paramount importance to something. My soul lies there means it is most important thing for me. My existence would be meaningless without that which is my soul. So that's how figuratively we are using the word soul in English language. So also in Sanskrit the word Atma is used in similar expression, that it is most important, and without that any existence has no meaning. What is soulless person? So soulless person means almost having no status and entity, becoming absolutely useless, purposeless, useless. So that is why Mahan Atma, the predication is used by Vyasa to set aside any Tuchchatvam. And this is clarified by Vachaspati Mishra in Tattva Vaisharadi. Tuchchatvam nishedati. So he says why the word Atma, predicate Atma, has been used for Mahat Tattva like Mahan Atma. Tuchchatvam nishedati. It does the nishedha of Tuchchatvam. So that's how the Linga Matra is described very briefly in Vyasa's comment. Then comes the next plane called Alingam. Pradhana Tattvam Alingam, markless. It's also called Avyakta, Akshara, Avyakta, Alinga. So again, these are descriptions of the same entity, which in the sutra is the last phase, Vishesha, Avishesha, Linga Matra, Alinga. Alinga is the last phase mentioned in the sutra, and Alinga is the first phase in creation process, and the last phase in dissolution process. The whole universe will dissolve into Avyaktam when it is deluge, and when it is unfoldment of creation, it will be launched from the same Avyakta, same Alinga, Moola Prakrti, Pradhanam. That is Alingam. So, Vyasa describes Alinga with the help of Pralaya, deluge, dissolution of the universe. Otherwise, the Alinga is not something that can be inferred even. Because it actually doesn't have any mark. Alinga means markless. Now, if there is a markless, what can you deduce? What can you infer? Because for inference, you need a mark. You need the relationship between the mark and the marked. If you recall the first chapter, Anumana Vritti, we saw the Linga Lingi Sambandham, Lingam, the mark and the marked. Linga Lingi. Now here there is no Linga, there is no mark. Therefore there is no basis for Anumana. And of course there is no basis for Pratyaksham because it is unmanifest, nominal. So neither the Pratyaksha will come here nor even Anumana will come here. So it is not Anumeyamana. Then the Buddhi which does the Adhyavasaya or which determines, which gets the determinate knowledge, it comes after Buddhi Tattva now. It comes after Buddhi Tattva. Therefore, the Buddhi cannot work because the Buddhi is engendered thereafter. It is Linga Matra, that is Mahat and Buddhi. Now this is beyond it. So, therefore, Vyasa makes a very interesting statement. Pratisamsrujyamanascha Tasminneva Satta Matre Mahati Atmani Avasthaya Yat Nissatta Sattam Nissadasad Nirasad Avyaktam Alingam Pradhanam Tat Pratiyanti. So wonderful set of predicates are used. Nissatta Sattam, Nissadasad, Nirasad, Avyaktam, Alingam, Pradhanam. So this is a very brief and complete description of the Alingam, Avyakta Parva, nominal phase of Prakrti. So he becomes Pratisamsrujyamanascha. What is Pratisamsruddhimanascha? Means when the creation is layonmukha, when the whole creation is about to enter the complete dissolution called pralaya. So layonmukha, Everything is going to be finally absorbed into this Alingam, this Avyaktam. So, layo mukha means about to get the laya. So, that is what pratisamsrujyamana, the word, the predicate, has the meaning. So, in deluge, precisely pralaya, in pralaya kalam, all the buddhi etc. are merely there as entities in it. So, Linga matra, avishesha, vishesha, these have mere existence. They go in complete latency, complete dissolved state, and they merely have existence entity wise. And it is in this Avyakta Tattva, Mula Prakrti, that they merge finally and merely have their entity or their existence as mere entities and no functionality. So, the Vishesha Vishesha are no longer there. Therefore, the first predicate, Nissatta Sattam. The Nissatta Sattam comes to mention that the Vishesha and Avishesha do not have their function, role, purpose, manifestation of any kind. And therefore it is Nissatta Sattam. That means simply not even Vishesha or not even Avishesha, or not Avishesha nor Vishesha. So when Vishesha Vishesha are not there, it is predicated as Nissatta Sattam. So neither particularized form or unparticularized form. That is why the predication is Nissatta Sattam. Then comes another predicate, Nissadasad. Nissadasad means having no karya karana bhavam. Karya karana bhava rahitam. It is without any cause and effect relationship. There is nothing like cause or nothing like effect. So when this nominal matter is not even a cause nor even effect, that is designated, described as Nissadasad. Now there are no effects coming out of Alingam or Avyaktam in a deluge phase. It is only on the launch of creation that it will become cause of Linga matram. But now it is not even a cause because Linga matram itself is not there. So what is not there cannot be having a cause. What is not existent cannot be having a cause. Something cannot be a cause of non-existent. So karya karana bhava rahitam is described by Nissadasad. So that is the meaning of the predication. Nissadasad means karya karana bhava rahitatvam. Absence of cause and effect condition. Then he also uses a predicate, Nirasat. Another predicate he has used apart from Nissatta Sattam, Nissadasad. The third one is Nirasat. What is Nirasad? Man, that means what is Asad is like Akasha Pushpam, Shashashrungam, Vandhya Sutam. So these are all non-existent things. What are these non-existent things? Sky flower, son of barren woman, and horn of a hare, or horn of a human being. Now these are non-existent things. Now this is different than that. And that is why this mention is so important. Because otherwise it would become non-entity, like son of barren woman is a non-entity, sky flower is a non-entity, a horn of a hare is a non-entity. This is not a non-entity, therefore nir-asat. Otherwise these are all asat. Vandhya Putra is asat. Kha Pushpa is asat. Shashashrunga is asat. So these are all called asat categories, non-existent categories. Now there is a negative prefix, nir-asat. So that is why it's also important to have this predication to describe the Alingam more precisely. And therefore he uses the predication nirasad. Therefore what it is? It is pradhanam, it is Alingam, and the dissolvent of everything, gross, subtle, physical, metaphysical, it will be dissolvent of everything. That is pradhanam. So what is being pointed out is Avyakta pravrutti, and Bhashyakara Vyasa has shown extreme skill in articulation of something which is markless, which is nominal. So it is important to understand these predicates better and better by some insight, by some thought process, or by taking recourse to Shastras, deciphering the Shastras. So what is here to be pondered upon is the predicates that he has used. So he says Nissatta Sattam. This predicate comes in first place. So it is beyond Satta Dharma and Nissatta Dharma. It is beyond existentialism and non-existentialism. It is transcendent. And therefore, it is worthwhile looking into Vachaspati Mishra's explanation when he opens this out in Tattva Vaisharadi. He says, Satta Purushartha Kriya Kshamatvam. That is Satta. What is Satta? What is entity? Purushartha Kriya Kshamatvam. The Kshamata. The qualification and capacity to subserve the Purusha Artha. Purushartha. Asatta is Tuchchata. So he says, Satta Purushartha Kriya Kshamatvam, Asatta Tuchchata Nishkrantam Sattaya, Asattayascha Yat Tad Uktam. So, you cannot say that there is Satta to Avyakta because there is no Purusharthatvam. You cannot say it is Nissatta because that is also been set aside in the description that we took earlier. So Mishra, Vachaspati Mishra, according to him, this satta satta means the satta also not there. Purushartha kriya kshamatvam. Now this kshamata is potentially there, not actually there. So in Alinga, there is no purusharthata, but however it is there potentially and not actually. It is anagatam. The purusharthatvam is anagatam. And therefore it is existent. Therefore it has satta. And it is also nissattakata. Because there is want of capacity to be taken into account or recognized to force itself upon an attention. So this is what Vachaspati Mishra is telling us about the predicate. Bhikshu has another interpretation which is again interesting. So he says Nissatta Sattam means Purusha Bhinna. It is different than Purusha Tattvam. And different than Shashashrunga. So it is neither comparable to Purusha Tattvam, which has entity and existence. So it cannot be equated with that. So it is Purusha Bhinna. It is Purusha Bhinna Tattvam. And this is very important to understand in the perspective of metaphysics. And it is also different than Shashashrunga, Narashrunga, Akasha Pushpam, etc. Because all those which are vikalpas don't have a potential existence. Nothing potentially there. But here there is something potential. It is potential to entire creation. So entire creation is potentially there, and therefore it is different than Shashashrunga, Narashrunga, Akasha Pushpa, etc. So there is this is what he describes in his Yoga Vartikam. Then we come to second predicate, Nirasad, Nissadasad. The second predicate is Nissadasad. That we have seen, Karya Karana Bhava Rahitatvam. That is one thing. It is also signifying Gunasamyavastha, Trigunasamyavastha, equilibrium of three gunas there, whereby there is no manifestation of any kind, very subtle to very gross. Nothing is possible. It is not karya of anything. This Alingam is not effect of anything. That's why it is called primordial cause, primeval cause. It is not cause of anything. So karya karana bhava rahitatvam, then triguna samyavastha, and not having anything as a cause for it, and not being effect of anything. So that is what is described in this predicate. Then comes the predicate of Nirasad. And we have seen why it is Nirasad, because it is not like Akasha Pushpa, it is not like Narashrunga, it is not non-existent. So it is transcendent, neither non-existent nor existent, but beyond. So that's why Nirasat has come, otherwise it would mean that it is Asad. like Akasha Pushpam, Narashrungam, Shashashrungam. So, in order to rule that out, the predicate Nirasat has come. Now, Avyaktam is another predicate. According to Vachaspati Mishra, Anyatra na layam gacchati. It doesn't dissolve into anything. There is no dissolvent to it. So such is that principle. And that's why it is called Avyakta. What does he say? Anyatra layam na gacchati iti avyaktam. And Bhikshu has stressed on taking the meaning etymologically there by Vyutpatti. Now, after having mentioned all the four phases, Bhashyakar proceeds to go for a conclusive touch to the commentary. Therefore, he says, Esha tesham lingamatra parinamaha nissatta sattam cha alinga parinamam iti. So he makes a conclusive statement, meaning all the avisheshas merge into purva parinama, purva karyam, the linga matram, and now that too also merges into this, and therefore it is alinga parinama. So in cosmology we have to understand that from avyaktam comes mahat, from mahat comes the trivida ahankara, and from trivida ahankara comes the vishesha parva of indriyas and sukshma sthula bhutas, tanmatra and mahabhutas. And then that's how it will be unfolding. Avyaktam to mahat, mahat to ahankar, ahankar to indriya parinam, and bhuta parinam, sukshma sthula bhuta parinam. This is the unfoldment. While in dissolution or in laya, the indriyas and these sthula bhutas will go into sukshma bhutas. Indriyas along with sukshma bhutas will go into ahankara. Ahankar will get n-folded into mahat, and the mahat will get n-folded into avyaktam. So this is how the process is. And this is worth taking note of, because in modern cosmology, they don't mention this. They only say how creation took place. And even some of the theologies of some religions, Abrahamic religions, they have some statements that the earth was created, mountains were created, oceans were created, but it doesn't say from where. It doesn't speak about the cause. While in science we see the cause and effect relationship. And then of course the dissolution is never a matter of cosmology. It has been never a matter of cosmology. How the things are unfolded and created is mentioned, but how the creation gets back into primordial cause is not mentioned. So these are the tattvas of Sankhya which are capable of unfolding, giving rise to subsequent tattvas, and then in dissolution process are capable of dissolving the earlier into the later, or earlier into the former, the later into the former. So like water dissolves in salt, the creation also dissolves the gross into subtle, subtle into more subtle, the more subtle into subtler and subtler and subtler, then subtler and subtler and subtler into subtlest. So, cosmology deals with both Laya Krama and the Srushti Krama. While the modern cosmology of modern science has a concept of linear creation, it mentions only how the creation has taken place and doesn't say that the same is a reversal process. So, with the Big Bang, the creation took place, and then what will happen? Then perhaps something will become, matter will become white dwarf, blue star, a black hole, etc. So the process of unfoldment and enfoldment don't have correspondence. But this is unique to Indian philosophical systems. The process of unfoldment and process of enfoldment are there, and the latter one is just reversal. As the unfoldments take place in stages, in same stages there will be enfoldment. Like you roll a mat and then unroll the mat. So creation is like a mat which is rolled out, and for dissolution it is rolled back. This is unique perspective and dimension of the Indian cosmology in any philosophical thought process. Now I recall here a wonderful statement that comes in Subalopanishad 2.4. So it says that from Ahankara comes Tanmatra, and Tanmatra give rise to Sthula Bhutas. So, and then dissolution is also mentioned. See, very interesting how the dissolution is taking place. We know that the Prithvi is the grossest of element and Akash is the subtlest of element. So, the quotation is Prithvivyapsu praliyate apa tejasi liyante tejo vayo viliyante vayu akashe viliyante akasham indriyeshu indriyani tanmatreshu tanmatrani bhutadau viliyante bhutadi mahati viliyate mahan avyakte viliyate avyaktam akshare viliyate aksharam tamasi viliyate tame pare deva eki bhavati. So it is so clear about even dissolution. Like in modern science, the astrophysicists tell us about unfoldment with the Big Bang. That after the Big Bang came the space, and after space came the cloud called nebula. From nebulas came birth of stars and planets. But then reversal is not mentioned. It's a linear thought process, linear creation for modern science as on today. We do not know what they are going to postulate after a couple of millennia. But that's how it is today. So it's a linear creation. They don't still endorse with the what you call circular process or circuitous process. I also recall here, it is worthwhile mentioning, the verse in Bhagwad Gita 13.19. Prakritim purusham chaiva vidhi anadi ubho api. So Prakrti and Purusha are both eternal, timeless principles. They are anadi and they are nityam. So Prakrti is also nitya tattvam, like Purusha tattvam. And therefore it will be unfolded, enfolded, unfolded, enfolded, unfolded, enfolded. It is also indestructible. Like Purusha is indestructible. Only difference is Purusha is immutable, Prakrti is mutable. So point is, Vishesha Parva will go into Avishesha Parva. Avishesha Parva will go back into Linga Parva. And Linga Parva will go back into Alinga Parva for dissolution. So then now question comes, Vishesha Parva, Avishesha Parva, Linga Parva and Alinga Parva. Comparatively, what is the difference between them? What is the Vaidharmyam? So Bhashyakar tells us, Alingavasthayam na purushartha hetuhu na alingavasthayam adau purusharthada karanam bhavati. Alinga doesn't have purusharthata, nor Alinga has come out for purusharthata. Na adau, na hetu. So that is the distinctive factor of Prakrti of Alinga phase and Prakrti of the other phases such as Linga Matra, Avishesha and Vishesha. There are no Bhoga Pavarga Siddhata in Alinga Parva. It has to commence only after Linga Matram, Avishesha and Vishesha Parva. So Purusharthata comes up only after Alinga Parva is triggered into disequilibrium for manifestations. So that is how he has clarified the difference between Alinga Parva of Prakrti and the rest of the Parvas of Prakrti. This is worth taking note of. So Gunasamyavastha is nominal phase. Guna Vaishamyavastha is creation phase. What is needed for creation? For modern science is the Big Bang. And for Sankhya, it is a disturbance of equilibrium in gunas. And once the disturbance is created, then the creation starts getting unfolded on its own. So the difference is that Alinga Parva has no Purusharthata and rest of the Parvas has Purusharthata. This distinctive factor is also should be taken note of. Therefore, Vyasa has said, Na tasya Purusharthata karanam bhavati. Na asau purusharthata kruta iti nitya akhyayate. Since there is no purushartha for it, it is said to be nitya. It doesn't depend upon the purusharthata. And therefore that too is nitya tattva. So, with that I think we should end the session today and we'll proceed in this topic in our next session. So, namaskar all of you.